Everything was great until we hit a portion of the book that talked about water baptism and going through a baptism. I felt, oh, here's just another religious ritual that I'm being expected to do. Otherwise, I'm not a part of, I don't get my, super decoder Jesus ring, and I'm not part of the group here.
What a marvelous gospel.
God's love is not based on you, but it's based on grace.
God's grace always comes with a purpose.
For the purpose that our lives would glorify Him.
Both of us were born and raised in Southern California and were raised with a Catholic background. So I kind of always feel like I've had Christ in my life. But growing up in the Catholic church, there wasn't that close relationship that now I see I was missing.
Anybody that's listening to this that has a Catholic background or knows of the Catholic Church knows that it's very ceremonial. It wasn't until I got older that I realized there was more to having a relationship with God than what I was seeing in the Catholic Church.
We were both in law enforcement. I spent 22 years with the LA County Sheriff's Department. My husband spent 33 and a half years with the Los Angeles Police Department. And we used to vacation here in Hawaii quite a bit. And always thought, wow, what a dream to be able to move here. There came an opportunity to buy a home here. And I started to get some angst about it and worried. And at one point I just thought, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to hand it all over to God. And if it's His will that we buy a home there, then it will happen. And Lord, I totally and completely give it to you. And I really feel like that was the first time in my life that I did that. Everything fell into place just like clockwork. 30 days later, we were in a new home. We started living in Maui and we got invited to Grace Bible Church. And from the moment we stepped in the door, it was just like a feeling of coming home. Grace Bible is where I truly was able to wrap my mind around the whole salvation thing, and just that whole feeling at peace because I'm saved is just a new thing for me.
And then watching people during service, during worship, raising their hands, and some people, getting down on their knees. I wasn't used to that at all either. I was used to the whole congregation. When the bell rang, you got down on your knees and you said prayers. The priest would be moving up and down the aisles, disseminating incense, and I still don't know what that's all about. But Ryan and Sharina started inviting us to be a part of small groups. And I think Judy was more open to it than I was. So it took a while for me to be open to the idea of joining a couples group. Everything was great until we hit a portion of the book that talked about water baptism and going through a baptism. I felt, oh, here's just another religious ritual that I'm being expected to do. Otherwise, I'm not a part of, I don't get my super decoder Jesus ring, and I'm not part of the group here.
We're very close and we like doing things together. So my prayer was that he would be at the same point that I was when I did get baptized. But I didn't want it to come from me. So it was a decision he was going to have to make, and I leaned on the Lord to help him make that decision.
Going through first steps and reading the chapters about Jesus getting baptized, it clicked. I needed to mature in my faith, apparently. It was an answer to prayer for Judy, and I didn't even know that she was praying that prayer. Our dream of coming to Maui was to come to Maui and be on the water and be at the beach, but God had a different plan for us. We've been very involved with various different things in the church. We started to get involved in some community outreach, and we joined an organization called Nakekio Emalia. Judy and I jumped right on the Unite 714 program. I believe that collectively, God is calling his people to prayer. And I think it's an opportunity for people to look outside of themselves and start looking at, what can we do for others? What do we need to do for others?
It seems like we've stopped doing things for us, and now we're trying to do more things that maybe Christ has put in our hearts that could actually help people. And I think the more you pray and talk to God, the more you will be able to recognize his voice when he's talking to you and directing you.